Right, hello OAS family. It is time for another book review, and you'll have to pardon the background noise. It is Fleet Week here in our location in Huntington Beach, California, and so we have the Blue Angels roaring over the sky doing tricks for the onlookers. So we're gonna have some jet noises in the background, but through that, we're going to review this book. We've been anticipating this book review for a couple weeks now, and we're finally getting to it. So here we go. This is a Chinese painting by Chang Da-chien. And so if you don't know Chang Da-chien, if you had to kind of evaluate the modern Chinese masters, he is perhaps the most well-known. And maybe the most commercially successful. And so this is an exciting book for a number of different reasons. Before we get into the details of the book, we are going to talk a little bit about the general statistics. The book is 8 1/4 inches wide by 11 3/4 inches high. And it has approximately 165 pages, and it has text in both Chinese and English. So we're going to go ahead and get into the book here. We have this, just the cover here, and this simple cherry and plantain painting, table of contents, and here on the left side, we have this wonderful landscape painting featuring these traditional mineral greens and blues that you see a lot in the traditional Chinese landscape color palette. And then a little simpler landscape composition over here called Rain Over Wudale. And this one is also, on the left, is called Rain Over. So here's some biographical information on the artist. Both here in Chinese and in English. The writing here is actually good. So it is a good translation, and the writing is actually thoughtful. So some little highlights from the biographical notes. They often refer to Chang Da-chien as the Picasso of China today. And he's both a great painter and a master calligraphist, and also a poet. Actually, before he became famous for doing his own work, he was actually he was known for copying works, and actually made quite a lot of money producing copies of paintings. So it's through this copying process that he established such a diverse and rich technical skill set, which he demonstrates in his own painting. I have a couple paintings over here called the Summit of Peitao Mount, and this one here, another landscape painting that's called Longevity. And then here we have a painting, very abstract Lotus painting. And then painting here of a monkey sitting on a tree called Gibbon. So some of these writing sections are really great pieces of this book, and pretty unique because it really delivers the insight of the artist on some very, very important topics. So here's just kind of a general essay that he kind of is writing on the art of painting and how to develop as a painter. And he mentions the importance of copying the old masters, and really is trying to give the reader insight into how he thinks about painting and how he became the painter that he is. So there's some exceptional stuff here, and we're not going to get too much into the details of it, but the writing in this book is worthwhile, and that's kind of uncommon a lot in these Chinese translated books. Oftentimes the writing is a bit of an afterthought, but this book the written portions are very important. So here's a persimmon painting called May Everything is Wishes. And then we have a little bit of plum blossom, little breakdown of different renderings of the plum blossoms, different orientations, different compositions. And again here, a whole section on painting plum blossoms and what he thinks of the history and the cultural significance of the subject. And then we get to, we're proceeding now through the Four Gentlemen. Here's a bamboo, orchid and bamboo painting called Orchid and Bamboo, and then a couple different grass orchid paintings. And then again, a bit of text from the artist on about painting orchids. So we proceed now, going through the Four Gentlemen. This is, now we're on to Chrysanthemum. We have some wonderful chrysanthemum paintings, and what I like about Chang Da-chien's work is it is very diverse. So there are some lovely, sort of humble, simple paintings like the ones pictured here, and then you'll also see some gloriously ambitious masterpieces, and so that is uncommon. So this is painting Flower in the Four Seasons, and he's crediting that he's imitating it from Pai Yong. And this is Chrysanthemums, another chrysanthemum painting here, and again set against the text about his idea on painting chrysanthemums. And then we go on to bamboo. So lovely bamboo on a fan composition here. And stone and bamboo ink painting, and then some text from the author about painting on bamboo. So we go on here. We have some this butterfly and orchid, and this moth orchid, this rainy lotus painting. And again, general thoughts on painting flowers and plants. So let me just grab an excerpt here about, to give you an idea of what this text is like. It's like, as not all flowers lend themselves to the painter's art, and no painter is equally proficient in portraying different kinds of flowers, it is for the painter to make his own choice. To have a thorough knowledge of the special characteristics of even a few species is no easy matter. Unless one has a deep impression of a plant through observing it, and from its very sprouting, from the seed to its culmination in full bloom, one cannot expect to understand its nature really well and to do justice to it in painting. The artist should be able to predict the color of the flower by examining the first leaf of a sprouting plant, before he may be considered as its true friend and a master painter. So again, lots of very rich content and wisdom in this little paragraph, and the writing in the whole book is like that. So here's a water and white lily greeting autumn, hibiscus, lotus painting here on the left, and another one featuring lotus and mandarin ducks here on the right. So flowers and plants in the Moku style. So here he talks about the boneless style, spontaneous style, the style that doesn't rely on outlining. So good thoughts here on that, and some pictures of him actually painting, sequential pictures of him progressing through from the beginning of a composition to the end. Here's a lotus painting, peony, another lotus in ink, and another peonies painting here. So now we start to get into some of the fine line style. And we have the Palace Red Tree Peony here. a painting entitled Early Fall, which has a couple of birds nesting on a branch, resting on a branch, and then a painting on the right, which is To Greet the Peony, which features bamboo and peony. So here's a section where he discusses peonies in the elaborate style. And then we have this example, this purple peony done in this Gong-bi or fine line or elaborate style. And once again, I think that's a, no, not a repeat, slightly different of I think this may be a different flower, possibly like a hibiscus, or maybe camellia with a bamboo. So we have a landscape section. So this is cloudy, misty Ome Mount, boating and chilly hills. And then again, the English section where he talks about painting landscapes. Then here we have Plum Forest and Thousand Valleys. Here's a section where he shows different rock compositions, the different styles of rocks. You know, he's calling this the demonstration of wrinkle style. On the left here is a glorious landscape painting called Autumn Mount, and on the right, another really majestic painting called Green Sioux Mountain. This one has like very strict outlines, very defined strokes, and this one has a much softer appeal. So here's some demonstrations on how he holds and manipulates the brush, different holds, different positions, how he's turning the brush in this painting of these various elements and landscapes. We have this painting on the left called Loneliness and Piney Falls on the right. So on the left here is entitled Xishangqi, a famous scenic spot of Ome Mountain. And on the right, painting called Boating. Here on the left is landscape in the summer, and on the right is an imitation of the method of drawing from the northern Song dynasty. So this is a section on painting landscape in the elaborate style. So Gong-bi landscape. So on the left here is a painting called Boating, and on the right we have Autumn Mountain, and then cloudy Huangshan, which is the yellow mountain. On the left here we have Golden Summit of Ame Mountain, and then on the right another painting that he's calling Boating. Lake view in this fan shape, very abstract landscape here called Mountains, another abstract landscape called Reach for the Sky. And you can just see how like different these paintings are, you know, when you come to like these abstract landscapes and then you compare it with some of these more elaborate style. It's amazing that this was done by the same artist. So on the left here, we have something called Chatted by the River. And then on the right, we have various ancient figures, different positions, both standing and sitting. These ancient figures are very common subjects in traditional Chinese painting and the classic Chinese painting. So here's a sample of their rendering. And then a landscape here called Green Screen, and we can see here the figures are brought in meeting on this bridge. And then on the right here we have Autumn Lake. On the left, Parking in the Rainy River, and on the right, Vespertine Dike that was imitated from Tunyuan. And then we have endless landscape here on the left, and then on the right, a desolate resort in mountain. Again, another imitation of Tun Yuan's Vespertine Dike. So here is his section on copying the old masters and the importance of copying as a step towards mastering the technique of painting. And so he says, it can hardly be exaggerated. Prior to copying, it is advisable for the beginner to get acquainted with the composition of a masterpiece by tracing it on a piece of semi-transparent paper as many times as necessary. So these are things that we often think they're almost like taboo from an art, from sort of a Western point of view, as the West has a much stricter tradition when it comes to like intellectual property and the ownership of ideas, but you can see that in the Eastern tradition, it is not as that point of view isn't as ingrained, and so it produces some advantages as you're able to use copying as a process to step as a step towards developing the technical abilities to express your own style. So we have these original sort of Vespertine Dike and then an imitation of the painting here on the right. So this is Autumn Mount, imitated from Shi Tao, which we've featured in a recent email. This painting here on the right side called Memories. And then Landscape, Autumn Visiting, Green Dragon Ridge. I'm going to try to pick up the pace here because this is kind of a big book, very rich in content, so I want to not make this video too long. Landscape painting on the left, Returning on the right. Snowy Mountains in Switzerland, very abstract, almost impressionist kind of piece here. And then on the right is Driving in Snow, imitated from a painter in the Song Dynasty. And then he also gives us his general thoughts on painting snow scenes. Vegetables and Fruits on the right side, another abstract landscape painting, Blue Peony on the right, which has this decorative border. This section is of nature, feeling, and attitude. So this is about knowing the spiritual essence of your subject. So again, very valuable information, and I think unique as the primary goal of, to sort of the Asian tradition, where we have this idea of 写意, or depicting the idea or capturing the spirit of the subject, not necessarily so preoccupied with its physical appearance, but really trying to capture the inner spirit of the subject. So this is a painting called Crimson Lotus. Summer Resort, landscape painting. This 4-panel giant lotus painting. Here he discusses paper and ink. Cloudy Mount on the right and Approach of Mountain Storm on the left. Mushrooms on the left. Lady Mountain on the right. Spring Water, Vegetables, Taro, and Vegetables and Fruits. And then a section where he discusses brush and water. So basically sort of a 4 treasures, or a discussion on the importance of materials. So we have Prunus, Bamboo, Pine, and Narcissus, friends in winter. And then landscape imitated from Wang Simeng. And then Sturnus chinarasis, might be the scientific name of that bird. And then red leaves and bird here on the right, and deep in autumn in the lower right here. The section from a bit of writing from the author on painting birds. On the right, we have a white turtle dove on a Laurenchance branch. Yeah, Don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but that's what this is. And then here's a painting of some ducks called The Couple. On the left, we have a white pigeon and red leaves, and on the right, we have a magpie. And amidst a discussion of painting birds in the elaborate style. And then we have a fish painting imitated from Pa Ta. And then this very simple ink rendering of fish, and then fish in spring water here on the right. And then we have a section from the author on painting fish. And this painting on the bottom is called Fish in a Clear Pond. We have ape here on the left, another painting on the right here, also entitled Ape. And then a section about painting animals. So we have herding here, which is water buffalo, and Pekingese dog here, and cat here. We have bull on the left, horses on the right. And then this is a Buddhist deity here on the left, and then seeking inspiration on the right. And then this painting is called Chanting Along the Stream, and Zithin playing in the mountain valley. And then this section on painting of human figures. So sequential painting of the features of the face. So for those of you that don't know, the counting in Chinese is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc., etc. So going here from left to right. So starts interestingly enough with the nose, then the mouth, then the eyes. Nose, the upper lip, and then mouth and lips, eyelids, iris, eyebrow. So interesting that he specifies the order in which he paints facial features. Then this painting is the 5 venerables and a child and a sheep. Here is different examples of the rendering of faces, both from the front and the back. And then Lone Ranger on the left, and then Aged by the Pine, the Aged by Pine on the right. And then Pondering Under Pines here on the left, Pine Tree and Scholar here, and then Appreciating the Pine on the right. Passenger, Bird Training Under the Pine, continuing this section on human figures. And then Self-Portrait, a little sketch here called Flavoring Tea, and then Appreciating Huangshan Falls on the right here. And then this is Tong Po with a walking stick, and a section on painting hair and beards, and Jung Quer here on the right. Then Playing with the Parrot here on the left, Yang Fei mounting a horse on the right. And this is his idea of painting classical ladies. So this is the goddess of dispensing heavenly petals. And then here is called Playing Panpipe. Lady by the Palm here, Plum Blossoms and Beauty here, and here feminine form of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. Lady in Fashion here on the left, and on the right we have Modern Lady. On the left, painting, pinning flowers, taking a nap here on the right. Many Offspring here on the left, and then Ancient Female here on the right. Little section on painting eyes. Spring Melancholy here, and then Sao Ho Ching in the White Serpent here. On the left here, Dance of Dedicating Flowers. And then we have Ancient Female here on the left. These three figures here, and then Playing with Child here, and then Female Portrait here in the lower right. Angling in Autumn on the left, Meeting in the Dream here on the right, and then Plum Flowers and Beauty on the lower right. So here's a section on seals and mounting. And then the artist here is showing off some of his seal collection. And then we have boating here, getting towards the end of the book, and there you have it. So we have limited copies of this book. So I think there are less than 10 copies as of the recording of this. So if you're interested in it, please get your copy before we run out. We will order more. This book is still in print, but for now, if you're interested in having it before the holidays, very important that you place your order. So once again, this is Chinese Painting by Chang Da-chien. Very unique book, and I hope you enjoyed this video book review. Please give us a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And as always, we wish you happy painting.